Howdy, everyone, and welcome. This is Leslie Hassler with your Biz Rules Business Coaching. You have found the Be More Successful show for service-based business owners, where we're talking about really everything it takes to be a little more successful in your business, or even a lot more successful in your business. And part of that, part of the why behind that is because I really do believe in empowering prosperity for every business owner. I believe it's possible. But I also know, having worked with business owners a lot over the last 6 years, that we don't know or that you may not know about managing your business, growing your business, and scaling your business, that if you had this knowledge, things would just become so much easier. And today is actually one of those topics. I'm checking my mic because I recorded this last week and in true fashion had inadvertently hit mute on my mic and nothing came out. So if you're watching this live, please give me a howdy. Let me know that you're here. If you are seeing this as a replay, just type in replay. And by all means, if you'd like to get live notifications when we're going live, there's a link for you to follow in the description. We are revamping that process as Facebook has had many changes get pushed through in the last couple of weeks. And so we're having to change some of our systems to be able to accommodate that. But we're here. So if you take value in what I'm going to share with you today, and today's a good one, today's really a good one, I want you to go ahead and feel free to share this. Just hit the little share button, maybe say a word or two, and let other people know what we're talking about. So really and truly what we're talking about today is the cycle in your business that you probably don't know about, you probably have never heard about. Mostly it's a cycle that a lot more bigger businesses pay attention to because they've got people like CFOs and consultants and things like that that are help guiding their growth journey along the way. And so this is a cycle that really is quite amazing once you get it under control and understand it. And really, if you feel like you've put a lot of money in your business, but it's not coming back out, this is a cycle that'll tell you why that is. It's a really easy number to figure out, but I'm going to tell you how to do that. Don't worry. But I think really where the value of this metric in your business is knowing that if you improve this cycle, if you reduce the number of days in this metric, then really what you do is you wind up improving your cash flow. You wind up improving your profitability. You also are able to increase your capacity, meaning that you can do more with what you have. So I like to really use this with my businesses when we're looking to reactivate growth, when we're looking to rebound, rebuild, or even when we're having a business that's had a good solid growth and we're looking to scale and pre-fund some of our own growth initiatives that are going to come down the way. So this cycle is called, are you ready for it? You got your pen and paper. The cycle is called the cash conversion cycle. So the triple C, if you want to think about it there. And really what it is it is a metric that is measured in number of days. And it starts that moment that you invest $1. So let's say as a service-based business, you invest in marketing or sales, something up front where you're putting money into the business to get a return on your investment. That's a good commercial enterprise, right? So it starts that moment that you make that investment. And it goes all the way through the day that you're done with the work and you get paid. Now, what I have found is that for a lot of small business owners, you're kind of left at the mercy of other businesses on when they pay, and we don't have great AR policies, and we haven't thought about cash forward strategies and all these things to kind of consolidate this. So if you were to take the days that it takes you to find a client and convert, or find a lead, let's say, and convert them into a client, and then you added the days that it takes to do the project, whatever number of days that is, and then you invoice and get paid. Like those are the three big buckets that we look at. We'll look at marketing and sales as a bucket, operations as a bucket, and then AR or payment as a bucket. I told you my biggest thing for small businesses is to get them out of the business of extending credit to their clients, because you're too small, you're not set up for this. Your client defaults on your payment, it can have catastrophic after effects on your own business. So these are all things that we want to do to protect the business so that it stays solid and is able to grow. So how are we going to do that? Well, first off, the first way, and I've got 3 ways for you, is to reduce the number of days. Now, oftentimes I go to the back end first because it's the easiest to implement some strategies. So there are some processes that you can do. There's some processes that I've encouraged clients, but in all, it's about setting expectations with your clients. So I had one client that we were working on this for, and everything up to this point was really tight. Like they were a machine. They could turn a project in 3 weeks. Amazing. But then it might take another 3 weeks or so for payment to come in. And while it generally came in, it was always a guessing game. Like, when is it going to come in? So one of the things that we did is we actually started setting expectations early. And we did things like accept credit cards and say, great, here's how we end the project is. We take about 3 days to reconcile so that we're billing you actuals. We'll let you know what that actual amount is. And then in 72 hours, we'll go ahead and auto draft your bill. So suddenly, if we took something that was 21 days to get paid after the end of a project, we've compressed it down to 6 days. It is amazing how well that little statement, here's how we're going to close out the project. We're going to give 3 days. We're going to call you, let you know what the final bill is. And then in another 3 days, we are going to charge your credit card. Now you can choose to pay us at that time, not a worry, but this is how we operate. That little conversation, as simple as it is, reduced, right, the number of days that the money was out of the business by 15 days? That's pretty substantial. So you can that's strategy number 1 is just to reduce the days. Strategy number 2, this I would say if you're working more B2B, is to set favorable payment terms. So you may be extending net 30. Don't extend net 30. If you don't have to, don't. You could choose to do one of 2 things. You could do 50% up front, 40% upon delivery, and 10%, due within 2 weeks after there. We've hyper accelerated the payment there. You could do things like it's due upon receipt, or even, this is a strategy that a lot of businesses use, especially bigger businesses, is give a discount off for quick payments. So maybe a 1 or 2% discount for invoices paid within 7 days. There are so many ways that you can incentivize people into paying you that helps shorten that cash conversion cycle. Then we're going to go into kind of our step number 3. We're doing great on time. Our step number 3 is really about the systems and the processes, because we can compress payment in a lot of ways, and there's a lot of strategies to move it forward, which is awesome. This is what Amazon does, guys. They hold on to your cash for 26 days before they're due to pay it out to their vendors, right? They've set the favorable payment terms to benefit them at the end of the day. So this last strategy really is about how do we get greater efficiency. Like if we are going to look at operations, let's say, and we're wanting to compress the timeline in operations so that we can turn projects quicker, which is a lot of benefits to it. I've seen this time and time again, guys. If you can turn a project quicker and do just as good of a job, if not better, you're actually more profitable, because you can turn that project or a number of projects more frequently. Let me give you an example. My first business, it's a highly customizable business, highly customized, highly individualized, all highly creative, all the reasons people say that they can't have a process. We were all those reasons, but it always felt like we were reinventing the wheel with each and every client. Well, so what we did is we actually developed a process for our projects, and it took something that might have been an 8-week project, and we compressed it down to 6 weeks, which was pretty fabulous. But here's the kicker. Because we mapped it out so much, and we knew there were certain times where we had to wait on a product to get to us, or we had to wait on information for other people. We always knew there was this dead zone, if you will, where we weren't doing anything per se, but we were waiting on other things. Once we actually measured out that process, we saw when we could start a new project. So whereas before we may have waited that full 8 weeks to start a new big project, we actually compressed our start times. So we could start a new project every 2 weeks. And then it was just a game to see if we could fill it. And we just had this constant steadiness when it came to the project. So we decreased the metric, right, from how many days we were actually taking to turn a project. We were still developing a great product at the end of the day. We had great clients that were very happy at the end of the day. But because we put this in place, we could actually reap the benefit of being able to turn the projects more frequently. So we could do the same people, or actually we could do double or triple the amount of work with the same people. So we increased our capacity without having to increase our resources. And that's a really big key for service-based businesses, because so much of what you do is tied to your head, your heart, or your hands, right? The creation of something that if you can't do an efficiency, get a high level of capacity from your workforce, the only way you can grow is to hire more. But that's actually puts you kind of back behind the 8 ball. So it's a vicious little cycle to get caught in. And so, yes, if you've got a level of growth and you're just starting and you're kind of moving up and you're making sure this engine can run, then this may be not the biggest concern, but you can still pay attention to it. But if you've been around the block a time or two, this is one of those advanced moves that makes things happen. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. So think about your cash conversion cycle. Actually, as the business owner, figure that number out. What is it? And then use the strategies that you could use. I gave you 3. There's a ton of them, right? They actually can be done to compress it, to make it more efficient, and to increase your ability to do more work with the same amount of resources. So hopefully that brings you a little prosperity this week. Be sure to tune back in on Thursday. We'll have another episode as soon as we get the messaging up and running. We're going to get the live notifications back out. But as always, if you enjoyed this, please share it with your community and tag somebody else in it that needs to hear it, because that's how this message gets spread. So that's it for today, guys. My name is Leslie Hassler. Been with Your Biz Rules Business Coaching, and this has been the Be More Successful Show.